Hello, all you sexy people out there in the internet land. It is me, Dungeon Master Jake, also known as the Chaos Gamer, uh, and welcome back to another episode of the World of Erudain. This time I will be discussing not a place, but an organization, the Order of Rising Silver, who have been a bit of a thorn in the side of the players for most of the campaign. So, to begin with, I'm going to kind of lead with how the party has encountered the Order of Rising Silver. I will then go over some common knowledge and some deductory knowledge about the Order of Rising Silver. And from there, that will be this video. As you can kind of see, this World of Erudain series, I'm kind of just going to pick a topic that I think is enjoyable. So, random topics could appear. So, let's start it out. The Order of Rising Silver was not encountered by the party very early on, or at least initially. They traveled around the Empire for quite a bit, doing certain tasks here and there. Uh, the party's first encounter with the Order of Rising Silver, which you will probably understand better if you watch in the future. I will be doing a recap episode, but don't want to talk about that right now, was in Fielion's Pass. I believe it is the Duke Brightwing, the ruler of Fielion's Pass, had enlisted a ranking member of the Order of Rising Silver to help him with his plan to turn the people of Fielion's Pass into crystalline zombies kind of creatures for his army. So, as the players were fighting the Duke, they encountered what they would learn was a member of the Order of Rising Silver who had been using these crystals for his research, getting funding from the Duke, and was planning to escape and bring his research with him. As it elaborates in his notes, the Order of Rising Silver is very interested in new magics, especially those that could be used for combat. It wasn't elaborated with, but something was coming that the Order of Rising Silver feels they need to arm themselves against. And so that was our first time seeing the Order of Rising Silver. Uh, the party managed to defeat that one, even stopping him before his teleportation circle spell activated. So they were able to completely stop him, and his research was not. The bulk of his research was not able to get back into the rest of the Order's hands. The party did not encounter the Order again in the Empire with the exception of, well, two incidents. One is during a month of downtime, Thorak had a vision, or a spirit vision given to him by his mother, saying that their tribe had been decimated by a group of people wearing silver masks, is what came across. The message was very short. Around the same time, Sparrow and Thizal had went on a small journey, and while they were passing messages along, they also encountered a silver masked person trying to negotiate with the person who they had been messaging. So, very mysterious at this point. The party then, at this point, had to leave the Empire for reasons, and traveled across the continent to Eltria. And while they were waiting waiting in Eltria to try and get access to the warp gate, an army besieged the city of Eltria, an army of the undead, uh, and led by a number of wizards, one of whom was wearing a silver mask, half of it depicting a sun motif, the other depicting kind of almost like a black hole design. You can kind of think of it like an Obito mask, I think, from Naruto. I'm not an expert on Naruto. Uh, who claimed that they were disciples of Zalathar, who I might cover in his own video, or if we have time, I might cover him at the end of this video, and that they were coming back to Eltria to conquer it in his name. Um, so the party ran, they got the wizards, and they were going to look for research for more when they realized something was going on. They explored and found that someone had broken in to one of the deepest levels of the Eltria's archive of magic. Um, they discovered two people there. One, a silver mask fellow, wearing whose mask depicted half of it a sun motif, the other half a clock motif. Um, and another fellow were rummaging through, grabbing various scrolls, books, tablets, and whatnot. However, after a fight, the two were able to cast some kind of a planar flip spell, uh, escaping from the party and leaving behind an elemental in their wake, a time elemental to be exact. Um, so, while the party managed to partially stop some of the theft and the army was defeated, the party at this point had encountered these Silver Mask people several times. Uh, and the way they talked led them to believe that they were members of the Order of Rising Silver. But not too much was known. Known that they had a goal that they were working towards, something was coming, that they wanted research. It's possible the army was a distraction, and someone named Zalathar. At this point, the party was still very confused. So the party used the warp gate, traveled across the continents, and ended up in the wasteland continent of Gorver, which is not loading. Yes. So the party ended up in the Gorver continent, where they traveled around, and eventually ended up in the crags near Thorax village. Um, and discovered, yes, the village and all the surrounding orc tribes had been enslaved by this group of wizards uh, under a silver-masked fellow. His mask had half of it being a sun design and half of it being a kind of a viney tree design. Um, so the party fought against him, um, managed to actually slay this silver-masked fellow and free the orcs from captivity, and learned that the silver masks had been making the orcs try and excavate this massive underground doorway, beyond which seemed to be some kind of a temple, some hallway with gates leading into the abyss, and, well, a calendar, a very special magic calendar. But yeah, as far as the party were able to find, that is all they had. So that was their third major encounter with the Silver Masks, the Order of Rising Silver. And so the party continued. They traveled on, and they arrived in the Tiefling country, which has actually no name, as it's not a very big country, to find that the regent in charge was very prominently a member of the Order of Rising Silver. Had the same silver medallion that almost all the members have. I haven't mentioned this previously. All have a medallion depicting a rising/setting sun. Uh, and so while the party was questioning him, he cast some magic in an aggressive way as kind of a show of power, as the party was being very disrespectful, led to a very big fight in which they managed to slay this member of the Order of Rising Silver, also destroyed a big chunk of the Tiefling country and ended up fleeing. And so thus they traveled on, and finally they've had their kind of most recent last encounter with the Order of Rising Silver. Uh, not counting dear Gunzik, who in one of their fights they acquired treasure from the Order of Rising Silver after, of course, having killed them. One of which was communication mirrors. And so Gunzik has been communicating with certain members of the Order of Rising Silver. Uh, but that's not very important, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. Um, but while traveling through the Desert of Burning Souls, they came upon the capital of the Polytherian Empire, and discovered that, yeah, there were corpses of wizards with robes and the silver medallion, many of whom had been slashed. They also eventually found the corpse of someone being possessed by a sword that they believe was also a member of the Order of Rising Silver, who had come into possession of this sword that possessed him and made him kill some of his allies. The party isn't quite sure what these people were there, as they never encountered any living members of the Order of Rising Silver, but it is believed that they were after some sort of treasures or weapons, magic items, etc. from this city. What we know is I will talk about what we know about the Order of Rising Silver. Now, historically, the Order of Rising Silver, they're not a secret order. They don't exactly publicize themselves well, but if you look deep enough, they are there. Have in the past been an association of wizards, specifically wizards who learn alternative schools of magic, those not based in Eltria. Some of those schools can include dark magic, like necromancy, conjuration, blood magic, certain areas of enchantment. Not saying these aren't taught in Eltria, just there's more focus of it with the Order of Rising Silver. They also have other things, acid magic, potion making. Uh, if there's an abstract school of magic that you don't think would normally be taught, it doesn't follow basically the base guidelines of the player's handbook, the Order of Rising Silver is hopefully linked with that, or trying to be linked with that kind of magic. Um, and so that is in the past. Uh, the current Order of Rising Silver, again, the party doesn't know too much about them. They know that there is several members, that there are several elite members that appear to have silver masks, and that those members are probably on the level of high maguses from Eltria, so they can cast minimum 5th level, possibly up to 7th level spells, and each has a good school. They have mentioned that Zalathar, a very powerful, let's say, dark wizard, has some connection to the Order of Rising Silver and might be in a command position. And we know that there is something coming up, something approaching, some grave threat that the Order of Rising Silver is preparing for. They appear to be traveling around gathering treasures, looking for weapons, gathering an army, training, uh, bringing people under their command in order to face this. Uh, Now, they also have a policy of the ends justify the means, so they are also harming a lot of people in this process um, to prepare to go against such a threat. Um, and that is what we currently know about the Order of Rising Silver, unless I have missed any details. Uh, I find that this video will probably be very important in the lore of the series coming up, or going on to the future, I should say, as the as it has shown, the party has encountered the Order of Rising Silver several times, typically in an antagonistic point, and that, well, the party and the Order of Rising Silver will likely meet again for many other battles until they reach a climax, and who knows, will they work together? Probably not. They're probably one is going to come out on top, and the other will probably not survive or survive in a shunted state. Who knows? Will it be the party? Will it be the order? Hard to say. But thank you for watching. This has been another episode of the World of Erudain series. I hope you have a great day. This is Dungeon Master Jake, signing out.